Alright, hello and welcome. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.
And this week we're talking about things we all do in video games that kind of make no sense.
Meh.
So, who wants to start off?
Yeah, probably one of you. I still need to kind of think through it to sort of get an idea.
Mine makes the most sense to me.
Oh no.
Because, generally in any adventure type game or basically free roam.
So like
type
Skyrim,
game.
Fallout, that kind of stuff.
Breath of the Wild.
And generally, many game genres fall in this category, even platformers. I would take a more interesting route to get to destinations than what normal people might take. I would basically look at a wall and see if I can climb it first. And see if it's not the intended path, I take just the path that may not take me anywhere.
Okay. So mine is... Okay. Now, we all know how I feel about Pokemon.
Yeah,
Sure.
decent idea.
I have one little weird habit when it comes to Pokemon.
Duly noted.
And that's when I have my little team,
Yeah.
everybody gets organized according to level.
Okay.
Lowest level at the start, highest at the bottom.
Okay.
And if you level up, you get changed in the order.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's
just
different
one down
for
the list moves someone up?
Like if, let's say my top is level 22, and
Yeah.
it goes to level 23, and there's a 22 below it, they have to switch.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense until you have to do like gym battles and stuff.
It doesn't matter. They have to go in that
The
order.
lowest has to be first. So most likely the first guy's going to probably faint if you don't switch him out quick enough.
You don't switch them out.
Oh, in your case, I see.
You have to go through them in order.
Okay then.
That makes so much sense.
Not really, but okay.
Nah, the strategy of it is absolutely asinine in certain respects, but I can understand your point on that. Thinking in my sort of aspect, I enjoy having particular things organized in most of the games that I play, almost to an absolutely ridiculous extent, because...
Like your game library? Every other week.
Yeah, depending. I'd still need to get through the order session about how I'm going to organize it this week. But in most cases, I play a typical sort of RPG for at least an hour or two. And then after that, there's a literal game session where I literally go through the entire list of items and go sort every item from how much I use to how least I use certain items.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Alright, so don't go playing Breath of the Wild.
Oh, Breath of the Wild is terrifying.
Don't play Fallout.
Oh no.
It's hardly
Dave.
one that I even enjoy. I get lost in the menus for far too long.
Dave,
No.
never play a Fallout game. That game is just about collecting shit.
In fact, just don't play games.
Yeah, with the time that I kind of have, it kind of gets a little crazy, but nah, on the whole.
Oh god.
I think with other...
Do you have another one, Justin?
I do look at every little details if it's an exploration type game. Like, I will walk over here, grab this, go way over here, and still, instead of the intended path, it's gonna be like a zigzag back and forth type of thing before I actually get to the destination.
Okay, so I'm sure I've told you guys about it, but I have a little game I play in Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, yes, that particular game.
My Taxi of Death.
Oh, that, yeah.
So what I do is I steal a taxi, and then I lose the cops, and then I park my taxi, and I take somebody, and they get in the cab for a ride. And then I pause the game. In real life, I flip a coin. And if it lands on heads, I drive them to their destination as nicely as I can. But if it lands on tails, we go out into the middle of the woods and I shoot them in the head.
The particular thing some people do in video games, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been doing that since Grand Theft Auto 3.
And yes, and Paul's basically Two-Face in the GTA series. killed Paul.
The sad thing is, it's true.
It makes so much sense now. There's nothing really much else. Aside from the fact that I'm very orderly when it comes to certain things. Where I'm not exactly that much of an experimenter when it comes to most things. I know what needs to be done, and I do it in that specific order. And nothing's going to deviate me from that. The only one incident that I can sort of think of was an incident within Breath of the Wild, where I had in mind of climbing up a particular thing in a certain way without using any rest points.
And then it rained.
That's pretty much exactly what happened. And it kind of devolved into the fact of, well, that happened. Well, it's only for a couple of hours, so I literally put down my controller, went to the kitchen, and made myself something to drink.
Well, yeah. What else are you going to do to wait for it to stop raining so you can continue climbing?
You can, but it's very stupid and tedious.
Find a cave, make a fire, wait till morning or something, and hope that it stops raining?
Oh no, you can climb up mountains in Breath of the Wild if you wanna, but you gotta know the precise climbing method, have a heck of a lot of stamina stuff, and just be stupid and stubborn.
Yikes.
Okay.
I do have one more thing that I do. In RPGs specifically, or JRPGs even, once there's an interesting side quest, I do it immediately. Or any side quest, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do this instead of the main quest.
Oh, I'm totally the opposite. When I'm playing a game, I ignore side quests entirely. It's like I want the story.
Yeah, I just go for the side quest because I'm like, okay, for example, in Final Fantasy VII, I didn't find the main story to be all that interesting at one point, and then all of a sudden, the Chocobo side quest opened for me. I did that until I completed it and got the Knights of the Round. Basically, I did all of it before I continued the plot.
And then you had something super kick-ass to take into the plot.
Or even, there's the last limit break with Aerith?
Yes.
Basically, spoilers for Final Fantasy VII.
A game that came out 20 years ago.
Exactly. If that shocks you, stop and move on to the next minute or something. So before Aerith dies, I used her final limit break, which you have to unlock through some rather inconvenient methods. You have to go out of your way to unlock it, and to be able to use it before then, you have to level her limits up to that point as well. So I basically went out of my way to do that before she died, and used it exactly once.
I saw a thing that hardly other people needed to see at that one particular point. Yay!
Because I'm like, what's even the point of unlocking it if I'm not gonna use it? But yeah, that was a random thing that I did in that. Just because it felt like a fun idea.
Okay. Anything else from either of you? I'm out, so.
Not really anything else.
I think the only one other thing I can think of was, it was only for a time, but it specifically happened with Twilight Princess. When I was introduced to the ball and chain item that I got, I discovered there wasn't much else use for it until I sort of went around and discovered what else you could use for it. I never used bombs again.
Well, you could still use bomb arrows.
No bombs for anything.
What?
If I was fighting enemies, I would use the ball and chain to fight a couple particular ones. Definitely not Dark Nuts. Those do not work. But any sort of rock or whatnot was in my way, ball and chain.
So, I think that's going to be about it. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.